Guys, I'm Thibaut, CEO of PlayPlay. Extremely happy to be there with you. And first, maybe a note for myself and for later: never do a board meeting of 3 hours before doing your session at the summit because it's exhausting. But still, this is the best moment of my day. I'm very, very happy to be there with you and be able to share some insight about what we are learning at PlayPlay and talk about video. Maybe just before starting the session, I wanted to say a few words about this event. We are a French-based company, but now are the leader in Europe around video creation tools. And we now have a team in the US. We see that the US don't have a product like us. And we are excited to show you our product and our vision for video creation. We think that video is clearly the content of the future, the present and the future. And we think that you guys should be autonomous in your video creation process. And this is why we are building PlayPlay, which is the simplest video editor in the world, but at the same time offering the highest quality in the video. So extremely happy. The second edition of the summit, we have thousands of attendees, and obviously very proud to have incredible speakers and great sessions. Let's go. So I'm gonna share my screen, and we will start. So the topic is why you should double down on video marketing. And also why you should execute in-house. And when we say video marketing, we mean video in the digital world, wherever it is and whatever your team is. I know that today we have attendees from marketing teams, social media teams, communication teams. We're all in the same team. What we want is to reach our audience. We want to get closer to our audience, and video is simply the best content. So like I told you, PlayPlay is a platform where you can extremely easily create and distribute your content while maintaining the highest quality. It is a tool really designed for professional people like you with the highest standards of security, control, collaboration, branding, templates, and so on and so forth. It's a product that you can try for free. You go to playplay.com, and in just 5-10 minutes you will have a video you will be proud of, and you'll be able to share on any platform. Okay, I love this tagline: the play button is the most compelling call to action on the web. I think it describes well the power of video. I mean, we are all fighting for our community's attention, and we would all like that they consume our content to get closer to them. But they are exposed to hundreds, if not thousands, of contents every day, and we need to have compelling content. And this little content with this little play button is very attractive for human brains. We want to click on it. We want to watch it because we love multimedia content. Video is winning because video is multimedia. There is music, there is colors, there is footage, there is movement. So this is why this is the winning content. And so, of course, companies that don't have videos are weaker than companies that use video in their content strategy. So video is no longer optional. And I mean, very important. We are not at PlayPlay saying that you should go all in on video. Of course, you need to have a mix in your content strategy. You definitely should keep on writing great stories or doing compelling visuals. But video should be now playing a key role within your content mix. And you should create video and distribute video not once a month or not once a quarter, but at least once a week. So like I said, video is the winning content because people love to engage with it. You can find a ton of surveys, and you've probably experienced that yourself too. Video is extremely memorable, that impact our brain. We remember the story of a video. Video engages well, and there are again ton of surveys. It always depends on the quality of your story, on your emotion, the emotions you convey, but generally video perform well than static images or text when it comes to engagement. And for the marketing people there that really want to convert, that really want to sell products, video is also better for converting, especially to reassure people. When you think about your funnel, you think about landing pages, adding videos help converting. So usually when we think about video, we think about social media first. This is the content we all see on social platforms. And people that are in social media know the power of video when it's about from stories to snack content, these pieces between 10 seconds, let's say 2 minutes, that you post on your Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn account. We'll talk about it. But video is actually helpful for almost any team, again, that has a community and want to engage with. Marketing, internal comms, HR, sales teams, corporate communication, training. If you are in this team, your goal at the end of the day is to tell some messages to your audience. This can be your fans or your employees or your candidates. You just want to tell them stories. You want to show them your brand and what you're doing. Internal comms, I think, is very interesting because we've seen the importance, especially during COVID and lockdown, of strengthening the link between the company and their employees. And video is a great way to tell the stories of your company, tell your values, tell your initiatives to increase the happiness of your employees and your retention. In HR, we also see video booming because employer branding is key when it comes to hiring the best. And obviously, with video, you can tell compelling stories. I also like training because it's sometimes hard to tell things, and videos can be also a very impactful way to tell complex things in an easy and, let's say, interesting way. Think about tutorial, for example. And naturally, when every team needs to do video, you also find video on every platform. The good news for video content is that platforms love video content. Basically, any platform now is either video first or video only. Okay, so it started with Facebook and Twitter and Instagram, and they realized how strong was video for gaining attention, and they are pushing it. But if we think about YouTube or TikTok or Snapchat, Snap, or even Instagram Reels, they are natively video. It's only about video. LinkedIn for me is a very interesting one because it's probably the platform where companies have the biggest opportunity today to engage with their stakeholders. On LinkedIn, you have your clients, you have your partners, but you also have your employees. You have everyone on LinkedIn. And it is really becoming a platform where people are consuming content and where they can spend not only a few minutes talking to other people, but watching or consuming content. So if you are able to create great video content, you can really make your brand shine, and it can be useful for you for, again, hiring, retaining, selling, and so on and so forth. And LinkedIn loves video. They've made several announcements. They repeated several times that they want to push video format. So this is for social media, but again, internal platforms also like video. We've seen Slack, Yammer, Microsoft Teams getting more smooth when it comes to video embedding. It used to be hard actually to have a video and put it on your website or on your blog post. It's much easier now. Digital out of home is also a very interesting opportunity. At PlayPlay, we have the chance to work with the actually the biggest companies in the world, and they are also creating videos to display in their offices. Um, when you are in the elevators or at every floor, you sometimes have screens where you can show videos. We also work with a bunch of cities, universities that have screens outside, and you can also play video to tell your stories. So video is the king content, but the thing is that video doesn't really mean something in a way. It's it's about video, sorry, are telling a lot of different stories. You can make a 5 second um, uh, TikTok, or you can make a 20-minute webinar that you will turn into video. And this is, I think, what is the most exciting about this format, is that it is very, very polymorph. You can tell any story. You just need a few footage, a few ideas, and you can create it. At PlayPlay, we have thousands of users that create dozens of thousands of videos every month. So here are four trends that we see growing now. The first one is about social impact communication, CSR or RSC. It's all about um, telling what you are doing as a company, for your reason to be, your social actions, and everything you can do as a company for the world. Basically, this is actually the number one topic that is covered by companies on LinkedIn, and of course, it's always better in video. I have a funny story about it. Actually, yesterday we had the French Prime Minister that actually posted a PlayPlay. We are quite proud at PlayPlay. She actually posted a PlayPlay about their new plan for developing um, the bicycle cycling in France. They have like a 250 million plan. It could be boring in a way, the story, but they turned that into a compelling video that they shared on her Twitter and LinkedIn accounts. And the video was suddenly super exciting, great footage, great text, and a lot of engagement. So we have a great salesperson being the French prime minister. Thought leadership is also exciting topic and growing. We know that companies want to engage and get closer to their communities. They just want to sell their products. They just want to don't want to just show, yes, this last product and these discounts. They want to tell about their values, their actions, and it's great if you can embody that with speakers that are your managers, your leaders, and they can talk into videos. Audio to video is a very exciting and interesting one. I think it's where the podcast trend meets the video trend. We know that podcast is booming, but like we said, the platforms where people are actually video native or video first. So a simple tactic is to turn your audio record into a nice video where, as you can see here, with a nice waveform, subtitles, a title, and an image. And so you can distribute that on, for instance, your Twitter account or LinkedIn. It's also a way to turn any kind of audio file into a video. That can be a radio interview of your CEO, or that can also be an interview of an employee that is too shy to be filmed, for instance. And finally, I think we all aware about the mega trend of content creators era, and obviously TikTok leading that. And of course, this is purely about video. So I think my goal there was really to convince you, if you are still doubting, that video should be at the heart of your content strategy. But, and there is a but, actually, few companies still really got it and have video at the heart of their content strategy. When we talk to them, and we talk to users or teams, we realized that they are scared about creating content, and they have a lot of ideas about video complexity. They think that creating video still is very complex, still require a lot of technical expertise or a lot of advanced skills, editing video skills. They think it's very expensive and they think it will take time. And guess what? This is true depending on how you decide to create video. And this is why we think you should do videos by yourself now. Why? Because these fears are true when you outsource your video. And when we talk again to the market, we talk to companies, small, medium, or very large, we realize that they still rely massively on third parties. They rely on agencies or vendors or freelancers or people that are outside their organization, or they rely on internal teams that have video skills and they have to brief and ask for. And yes, there are a lot of constraints when you don't do the video yourself. Usually, you're going to have a lack of creative control. You're going to have a lot of back and forth. You need to do a brief. You need to receive a first video. You're going to do your comments and feedback, and so on and so forth. If you work with agencies, it's going to be expensive, of course. They're going to do their work and they deserve to be paid, of course. And so you're going to have a budget. If you work with internal teams, usually the issue is more about delay and prioritization. We think this is not scalable. We think that it is okay to work with agencies when you want to do this mega great content once a year. They are still the best to do this tailor-made, custom, premium content. But if you want to have video as your bread and butter, the content of every day, of course, you need to change that. And we know when we talk to prospect that sometimes, again, it is daunting because you are used to do that. You know there are a lot of frictions, but still you will brief your agency because you think you can't do that on your own. These are things we are hearing. Maybe that sounds familiar. And it's very true because when you don't own the video creation, any modification, any slight adjustment is not in your hands. It's a little bit like you were a financial guy, but you don't know how to do Excel. And you have to ask someone to do your Excel. Of course, this is frustrating. And this is why we think that today, communicators, you guys, people that are in communication, marketing, social media, content teams, should be now becoming these video creators. And guess what? Um, there is no barrier to it. Video production has come down to a point where there are no barriers to entry. All the frictions you have, uh, you can remove them. This is on it, and of course, this is what we do at PlayPlay. But we are here to help transition all this complexity to a very to simplicity. When we think that yes, you are the experts, you are the people that know the stories you need to tell, so you should create now these stories. Why are you the best position to actually create content? Because you are simply the best. I mean, when we talk with you guys, we realize that you perfectly know your audiences. You know the stories they want to hear. You know the tone you can have with these communities, what you can do, what you can't do. You control that. You are also very great experts. You are attending the content summit and you are attending other summits. You are reading things, you are watching things, so you know what are the latest trends. There is a myth that maybe in some agencies there are people more creative than you, but you actually know what you need to do. You are on LinkedIn, you are on TikTok, you are on Twitter, and you can easily see that you know what you could do. And also because you perfectly know, again, your company and their tone of voice, so you have all it need what it needs to be the best communicator, and so you should create the video by yourself. So a few very concrete advice about how you can do it. First, of course, always start by defining a content strategy. And first, you need to wonder and figure out what you want to do, what you want to achieve by the end of the year. What are your goals? What you want to grow your community? Do you want to tell about a new product? Do you want to tell about a compelling story, your values? Think about your end game, your goals, and turn that into quarterly and monthly and weekly goals, and then into a content strategy. The second is to choose the right solutions for your video strategy. If you decide to do it by yourself, if you decide to make it internal, of course, this is a crucial point because you're gonna choose the software and materials that will be with you for the next few months or years. There are two, let's say, categories. First is about the material. So here on this slide, you see a nice camera, but actually the best camera today is the iPhone. With the latest smartphones, you can actually shoot very high quality content. So you don't have an excuse if you think that you can't do it. If you want to have a microphone, to have a great voice, great audio, it's 29 euros. If you want to have a great lightning of your where you're shooting, it's 99 euros. It's cheap. For a few dollars you can have a great setup. And then you need to choose your tools, your softwares, and there are a bunch of them. And I think here it's like everywhere. You just need to benchmark, you need to try. Some will go for very advanced tools, some will go for extremely simple tools, some will just try several runs. PlayPlay is one, of course, but I mean, we always encourage people to try tools and find the one that fits your needs. Number three is to, make it authentic. I think this is something that you have probably seen on digital platforms, on social platforms. The companies that are the more authentic get the more engagement, because when you are talking about your audience, you want to be close to them. And so the thing you should try to avoid is to make a kind of extremely polished and professional rendering that would actually create distance with your audience. So you need to find the right balance between, of course, the quality of your setup, but at the same time, don't hesitate to stay human and be again very authentic. A lot of companies are doing interviews. Interviews is a growing use case. You can do it for client testimonial. You can do interviews of your employees. You can do interviews of your managers. It's a great way actually to tell about what you do by showcasing people, and it's usually a way to show your authenticity. The branding, it's very important, and since we are actually now growing quite fast in the US, we have a lot of conversations with US companies, and we realize that yes, in Europe and in the US, the branding is a key part. Of course, when you're gonna post content, you will convey your branding. Whatever is your story or your message, it has to look your brand. Um, and the very basics are always the font and the colors and the logos. But we know that you are getting more mature in the video branding, and that you are adding more of your brand, such as backgrounds, icons, media, musics, sometimes transitions, sometimes specific animations. We really encourage you to add this into your video creation because, again, it has to be authentic, but it has to be branded. It has to be on brand. What you want to avoid is to have users that create content start to distribute content and lose consistency. This is obviously a risk when you start doing it on your own. When you have an agency, they know your brand and they'll be able to be compliant. When you start to spread the usage across your organization, make sure that they all have the branding. For instance, at PlayPlay, you can obviously integrate your branding so that anyone can create content that is compliant with the brand. Um, Make it collaborative. I think it's a important point, especially when you work in a large company. Don't think only about the one that will be creating videos, because video creation is actually a kind of a broad activity. You can engage with people that are recording, that are shooting footages, such as, let's say, for instance, people attending an event. You will have people collecting the footage and doing the editing. You will have people reviewing it. They may have to validate or give their comments. You will have people distributing or monitoring, and so on and so forth. So in the end, you have one video creator, but you can have dozens of people that are contributing to the video itself. And so think about it and try also to find a solution that helps you collaborate. At PlayPlay, we are working on collaborative features to make sure that you can all be together on one video project. And I think this is a to conclude, but yes, our advice is always to try out new formats. Um, we are seeing a boom of the video content activity. We see brands that are extremely dynamic, that are trying things, that are taking risk. We see that on every platform, people are so creative, and so I think you want and you should be part of it. Of course, there are some very basics, but then you should try things again. You may fail. You may try this interview series that won't work, but that's okay. And you will try something else. You will try a video podcast, or you will try to do short form content. Too often we see a communication people that are a bit shy. They don't dare to try new formats, and usually it's when you try new formats that you find the great format for you that your audience resonates with. So take risk, have fun. It's all about being creative, and you guys are extremely creative. I think I'm done and happy to take a few questions if there are some. I'm just gonna have a look. Okay, so a bunch of questions about, I think, about play, I guess. Let me check. Create video content with just one social media to post on. So, very good point. I think also sometimes we think we should be everywhere. We should have content on Facebook, on Twitter, LinkedIn. No, you should be where your audiences are and where you think it's relevant to be. People are questioning Facebook sometimes. People are questioning Instagram right now. If you think your audiences and your stakeholders are on LinkedIn, and if you see great engagement on LinkedIn, you should double down on LinkedIn. And maybe you can have only two platforms, or only two, key platforms, such as a great LinkedIn activity and a great newsletter. That can be enough. The best is to be expert and very good at what you do. It requires time and resources, so I would suggest to actually narrow the number of platforms you distribute content on, and be good. With PlayPlay, can we send out a link to collect videos from members of our community? Uh, yes, very very good question. So I think again it's about collaboration. It's a good point. So you can send a link or a flashcode to people that can then send you your media files. We know that transferring media files can be a nightmare just from a smartphone to a computer. Sometimes it's a nightmare. So yes, you can do it with PlayPlay. And also then you can share a link with your video and they will be able to comment, to validate, and to broadcast. So AB, there is a question, but I'm not sure I can understand on this one. Website or other platforms which provide laws on making videos internationally. Super good question. I don't have the answer. One important point is the media rights, because um, you have two ways to do videos. Either you get your own footage, like you do an interview with your iPhone and you use it, or you're gonna use stock footage. And usually that can be kind of risky. If you use stock footage, you are not allowed to use. So platforms like us have usually agreements. PlayPlay has an agreement with Getty Images, which is the number one platform in the world for stock footage, and we will provide a videos, stock videos, stock photos, GIFs that you are free to use because they are under license. Be careful with that because sometimes either you have to pay very expensive for a footage, or you can have trouble if you don't clear the rights of the footage you are using. We'll send all the presentation, I think, by email. Just checking if there are any more questions. Okay. Any question, guys? I hope it was insightful. Okay, I think we are done. I really enjoyed this session. I hope you enjoyed too. Again, I promise, 5-10 minutes, open an account on playplay.com, and you won't regret it because you will see that you're maybe the next Steven Spielberg in a few minutes. Thank you, guys. Enjoy the rest of the summit.